Hey guys, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and today we've got another edition of Is It Worth an Upgrade? This is a probably lesser known title compared to some of the other ones I've done, but I wanted to do this one because I've been hearing rave reviews online that this is sneaky one of the best 4K transfers that's come out. And it's so odd that this is the movie that, got this great treatment, apparently. Today we're taking a look at Red Heat, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Belushi, 80s action movie. It is going to be a really interesting watch because I've actually never seen the movie before, but I'm hearing such good things about the transfer, and I'm finding it hard to believe because it's a Lionsgate movie. It's a weird catalog title. I don't know why they picked it. It seems kind of random, but we'll see what it's all about. We'll see if the visuals are worth it, audio, and we'll take a look at any of the extra special features or packaging, which I think will be pretty light on this release. This was given to me courtesy of HD Movie Source, so go check them out. I'll put a link in the description. Thank you to them for providing this review copy. Also, if you like 4K Blu-ray home theater reviews, anything like that, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers, which is incredible. So I appreciate everybody who has subscribed, and I know that if you haven't yet, I'll sell you on it at some point. So definitely hit the subscribe button. So let's dive into Red Heat. And Red Heat is presented by Lionsgate 4K UHD with a Dolby Vision HDR transfer. Now, I don't have a lot of information on the transfer itself, but I do know that Red Heat was shot on film. And so if they did a proper job on this, the resolution upgrade should be really nice. There should be a nicely refined grain structure, and the HDR could be a huge improvement, considering especially that Lionsgate sometimes releases subpar Blu-rays. I'm interested to see how this 4K looks. So I popped it in, took a look, and yes, it looks like they did some sort of new restoration. There's got to be a new 4K transfer here because, resolution is good. The grain structure is improved. There's some nice added clarity, skin tones and hair and kind of fine details like that are much improved, well-rounded around the edges. You don't have a lot of choppiness. It's that extra resolution really helps. And the grain structure is, not on the heavy side, which a lot of you guys will like, but it is well-defined, which is awesome. But the huge difference here, and I'm going to show you some screenshots from the channel that I keep talking about that gives a great representation of what this thing actually looks like in Dolby Vision. And so you'll notice here, the HDR, the difference is incredible. You go from kind of a muddy, dark, kind of bluish gray tinted movie into this incredibly clear, pristine, brighter, better skin tones, but also more realistic. It looks like the Blu-ray release, which I never saw, was a complete disaster. And I've looked at screenshots online of it, and I've taken a look at some other reviews of what people said about the Blu-ray back when that came out. And, mixed reviews on that, but compared to this new 4K, those screenshots look absolutely horrible. I don't know what they did to this Blu-ray, but if you like Red Heat, if you like this movie, this is an absolute must-have 4K visual upgrade because it is crazy how much work they put in with the HDR. And it just looks, in my opinion, it looks so much better. Now, I don't know what it was originally supposed to look like. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this movie. All I know is when you compare those Blu-ray screenshots to the 4K, this is a no-brainer to upgrade to 4K, especially for what's going to be a pretty cheap release. Now, the little tidbits of information I could find about this transfer online all point to Studio Canal having done some work on it, which explains a lot. Now, I don't know the whole process, but Studio Canal is sort of like the Criterion of the UK. Criterion sells in the UK now, but Studio Canal does a lot of restorations. They've done great work on movies like The Third Man. I own their 4K restoration of that instead of the Criterion. They've done all kinds of similar movies to what Criterion does, and they do their own transfers. And so apparently they worked a little bit on Red Heat with Lionsgate. They worked on this new presentation, which really does explain a lot about the quality. They do great work, and it's evident here. Now, for audio, on this release, you are not getting an upgrade, although I think that the audio sounds better than on what I heard of the Blu-ray demos that I listened to. I don't know exactly if it's changed. Again, there wasn't a ton of information on this from Lionsgate, but they both have a 5.1 DTS HD master audio track. and the old Blu-ray from 2009 has the same thing. So unfortunately, with the great 4K picture, we don't get upgraded to Dolby Atmos, which is a little bit of a downer, but honestly, the visuals in this case are enough to sell me on this movie, and definitely think it's worth an upgrade. You know, the upgraded audio here, it's probably got a better bit rate to it. It's probably a little bit smoother, a little bit better mix, just because of the added disc space on a 4K disc versus a Blu-ray from 2009, which is probably a 25 gig Blu-ray disc versus one of these bigger 4K discs. And so it's probably improved, but overall it is the same surround sound track. So minor improvements most people probably won't notice. Now on the special features and packaging, I like this a lot better than the previous Blu-ray packaging. It does come with a brand new Blu-ray from Studio Canal. You can see their name right on it, as well as the 4K. And so even if you're just looking for a Blu-ray, this is a much better Blu-ray transfer, which is cool. It's not the old disc from 2009. It's completely different, and packaging is pretty standard otherwise. I didn't get a slipcover on this. I'm not sure if it ever came with one, but in this case, I didn't get one. Now on the 4K disc, there are some special features, which is cool. There is this feature on Arnold Schwarzenegger, a feature about the politics of red heat, East meets West, and kind of talking about the Cold War kind of dynamic, and a Stuntman for All Seasons featurette. As well as on the Blu-ray, you've got I'm Not a Russian, but I Play One on TV, another featurette about the movie, the original theatrical trailer, and the original making of TV special. And so it's cool that there's 4K special features. That's super nice, and that's probably something that Studio Canal added into this. So this is kind of a sneaky, under-the-radar, really good release from Lionsgate that probably didn't get enough publicity just because it's not, you know, it's not Predator, it's not Terminator, it's not one of Schwarzenegger's, you know, massive movies from the 80s. But it's a very popular movie in its own right. I just never saw it, hadn't really even heard of it until I saw this 4K release. And so I think if it was something like one of those movies, like Terminator or The Running Man or Total Recall or anything like that from the 80s that got this treatment, you'd hear a lot more about it. Just because it's a little lower profile movie doesn't mean you should ignore it. If you don't have this on Blu-ray, this is an improvement on Blu-ray because of the new disc, and it's a monster improvement over the previous one when it comes to 4K. And so 100%, in my opinion, even without the upgraded audio, Red Heat is worth an upgrade. I would recommend going out and grabbing this 4K disc. I think it's honestly pretty damn close to reference quality for an older movie. The way they did this transformation from the Blu-ray, the previous transfer into this new one, is right up there with stuff like The Shining in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Call me crazy for saying it, but they did a really nice job, and this is probably Lionsgate's finest disc to date in the 4K era. So, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll leave a link down to grab Red Heat 4K in the description if you buy through that link. As you know, you help support my channel. Also remember to follow me on Instagram. Check out my merchandise, my Amazon store, as well as all the links to my Amazon items, things that I use in my videos and in my movie theater room. If you're interested in that stuff and purchase it through my links, as you know, I get a little kickback, so I appreciate that. It helps support the channel. Thank you all for watching. I'll be back very soon with more reviews and more content.